Yo, Kepe Sky here, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to explain what is LFE plus main. It's a setting that every receiver seems to have now, and throughout the comment section, throughout the years, people have asked me, what is LFE plus main or just LFE? What's the difference? Which one should I set it to? We're going to discuss that right now in this video, and hopefully at the end of this video, you guys will know which one is best for your room. But first, we need to know, what is LFE? What does that mean before we can explain what is it plus main? So what is LFE? As most of us know, LFE stands for low frequency effects, aka the subwoofer. All of your movies nowadays have an LFE track, meaning there is specific bass that it's made only for your subwoofer, so the low frequency effect. So it's separate from the rest of your speakers in your room. Now, some movies don't have dedicated low frequency effects, but some of your 4K Ultra HD movies may have them. And so the audio engineer of that movie place certain bass frequencies only made for the subwoofer, maybe to emphasize a grenade or emphasize a knock, something like that only the subwoofer can replicate so that you get a good representation of what's going on your screen. So low frequency effects is the subwoofer, and you can set it to LFE, meaning the subwoofer only plays what's in that track. LFE plus main means subwoofer plus your main speakers. Now let's talk about that. Alright, so now that we understand LFE and what it means, now we can venture into LFE plus main. So I'm going to try to explain this as easy as I can because it can get complicated, so I'm going to try to break it down as simple as possible. So let's say we have our speakers set to large or small. In your settings, in your receiver, you can set your speakers to large or small. Large means that your speakers are capable of playing all of the low frequencies all the way up to the very top. So they play the whole spectrum of frequencies. If you set your speakers to small, then you can set your crossover. So let's say we have it set to small and we have it set to 80 hertz and we have our bass mode set just to LFE, not LFE plus main, just LFE. What does that mean? It means your speakers are going to play 80 hertz and up because that's what you have your crossover set. Anything underneath 80 hertz will start to be sent to the subwoofer as normal, like we expect. Now, if we change this to LFE plus main, your sub will now play everything, all the frequencies that your main speakers are playing. So if you have your speaker set to 80 hertz, your subwoofer will also play 80 hertz all the way up to as high as your speakers can go. But if you have it set 80 hertz on your speakers, only your sub will play under 80 hertz because you have your crossover set at 80 hertz, if that makes any sense. So LFE plus main means that your sub now plays the same bass frequencies as your speakers do. And if you have it set to small or large, it does not matter. Small just means you have your front speakers, your main speakers stopped at a certain point and then it's sent to the subwoofer. If you have them on large, then you have them playing everything. If you have an LFE plus main, whatever your speakers are set to, your subwoofer will play, and then it will also play its normal duties for the low frequency effects. So we need to talk about what setting is best for you. Alright, so we now know that low frequency effects, LFE, we now know what that means and what it does for our sound system. We now know that low frequency effects plus main, LFE plus main, means that our subwoofer plays everything our front speakers do, regardless of size. So we need to now talk about which one is the best for you, which one sounds better in your room. Well, that's going to be completely up to you and your speakers of choice that you're using and the environment that they're in. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say I have small bookshelf speakers. Let's say I have some Polk Audio L200s. Pretty good speaker, pretty good amount of bass, but not a whole lot, right? But they're my main speakers. And let's say I want to put them on small and put them at 60 hertz crossover. Well, they sound good at 60 hertz, but as you turn the volume up, it kind of, sounds distorted. There's not a lot of bass, not a lot of authority. What do I want to do? Well, I want to set my settings to LFE plus main so that my subwoofer can help my bookshelf speakers play all of its frequencies, because of course your subwoofer will give you more bass than any other speaker in your room. So sometimes having LFE plus main will help with the bass, especially if you have a smaller speaker that's not very capable. Now, you also may want to consider turning on LFE plus main if you like to listen to things loud. The louder we turn our speakers, the more chance of distortion, the more power it takes from our receiver, and of course it may cause strain on the driver over time if it's constantly pumping out heavy amounts of power to fill your room a sound, especially when it comes to bass. If you set your settings to LFE plus main, that subwoofer can take some of the work off of the speaker, or can help fill an empty void, help round out the sound in your room. So it may be beneficial to turn it on. Now, here's some reasons why you may not want to. Again, up to you. I personally don't use LFE plus main because my speakers are very good at the bass that they are supposed to be playing, 45 hertz on upwards, right? So my subwoofer, I don't need it to help my speakers. And if I do turn it on to LFE plus main, I can get a really bloated, overpowering amount of bass in my room, because not only are my speakers playing all the bass, but my two subs are also playing all the bass, and sometimes it can be just simply too much bass. It can sound very boomy, very inarticulate, just not a good sound. So sometimes LFE plus main is not a good idea. The bass could be way louder than the rest of the sound system. So when you're watching a movie, every time a grenade blows up, the whole house jumps out of the foundation. But when you're listening to vocals and people talk, it's hard to hear. So sometimes you may just have too much overwhelming bass. So for me personally, because my speakers are so good at most frequencies, I leave it on as small and set a crossover and leave my speakers on LFE only, not LFE plus main. It makes it a lot better sounding in here. Now, if you're somebody who has a smaller system who needs that extra bass, maybe you have a satellite system, you have satellite speakers, you may want to go LFE plus main, help those small speakers produce the bass and fill up the room with really good sound. I mean, that's what subwoofers are for at the end of the day. So you guys, what I want you to do, leave me a comment down below and tell me, what do you have your settings on your speakers? Do you have it set to small or large? If you have it small, what's your crossover? And do you have it on LFE plus main or just LFE? Let me know that down below in the comment section. And if you have any more tips for us, leave those down in the comment section as well. We will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already, like the video, and we will see you next time. KPS Guy out. Peace.